Hello, Metals and Glass students. Are you as excited as I am that we made it to week two? Hopefully by the end of this week, we're actually going to be starting our first hands-on assignment. So that's pretty exciting to me. So if you look at your Google Classroom for this week, week two, we're doing Artist Showcase and Metal Tooling. And everything that you need to know will be in this first assignment posted for you. Again, we're going to go over all of this in class, but if you need extra instructions or if you forget what we're doing or anything like that, you can check it all out in Google Classroom, okay? So on Tuesday, we're going to learn about the first artist. Well, we're going to see the first artist for our artist showcase. If you were in my class last year, we called this the Instagram prompt. So we rebranded it a little bit, and Miss King is going to do it with her classes as well. But essentially, for this class, it will be every Monday. We'll look at a new piece of artwork, and you'll have a week to write a public comment on the artwork in our Google Classroom. So it'll be posted as a question instead of an assignment, and I would like you to post your comments publicly on it so that we can create a sense of community with that too. And perhaps if you're somebody who's new to doing this, you can get some ideas of what other people think about the artwork too. There's always going to be the instructions right in the question. So you're going to look at the artist and read the caption and all that good stuff. So that's C. That's the first thing you're going to do is click on this, check out the artist, check out the title of the piece, who created it, all that good stuff. And then you're going to comment on the photo. So I want you to think about, your first reaction of what you're seeing in the piece of artwork, and then comment that. And then wonder is to write a question of the photo. So after your comment, you're going to write a question like, what are you confused about with the piece of artwork? What do you want to know more about? Really any question that pops into your head. And then when you're done, if you want to, you can create 2 hashtags. So that just makes it a little more fun, especially for me to read. I always like to see the hashtags that you all come up with. This is really just to get you all looking at more artwork, and we're going to start learning about, how to form opinions about artwork and why we like or don't like certain things. It does not need to be deep and insightful and thoughtful, although it can be, especially if you do, if you are provoked by something and you do think very deeply about it, that's great. But it really can just be a reaction to what you're seeing in the piece. And again, we'll talk about this more in class. But in the instruction slides, there's more too, so you can go through this yourself if you'd like to, but some things I'd like to point out just quickly is that the views of the artist are not necessarily the views of your teacher, your classmates, even yourself, but it probably did have something to do with why they created their work of art, so that's why we learn about it. And sometimes their view sways your opinion of the artwork. So here's an example I have. If you look at this piece of artwork, you might, really love the colors. You might like the energetic lines. Maybe it makes you feel crazy, or it makes you feel like you're on a roller coaster or anything like that, and you really enjoy the energy of the piece. But the piece is called Night Creatures, and after finding that out, maybe you start noticing, oh, in all of this energy, these chaotic lines, like maybe you're starting to see like eyes everywhere, maybe you're starting to see faces, and maybe that changes the way you feel about the piece. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you still like it and you're like, oh, I would hang that in my room. I really enjoy looking at it. And that's fine. I mean, that's kind of why we're learning about this, is to determine what you like and why you like it and how we can better talk about art with one another. Again, we'll go over that much longer in class on Tuesday. Then later this week, on either Thursday or Friday when you have class, we're going to be introduced to our first project, which is metal tooling mandalas. So you're going to get a piece of metal. It'll be in your kit that you're getting next week. And we're going to create a mandala by tooling the metal, like pushing the metal to create lines and shapes in a 3-dimensional way. So you're going to learn a little bit about mandalas first, because that's the design we're going to use. And then we're going to learn about the piece of, I think this class is getting silver. Last year we had copper, so that'll make a difference. But you can see in this piece that you're going to push on the different sides of the metal to create convex and concave shapes to really make your piece like 3-dimensional instead of just a flat drawing. But to start, you're going to do sketches in your packet, and once you decide which sketch you like, I would like you to draw it as perfect as you can, because we're actually going to cut out that sketch, lay it on top of the piece of metal, and you're going to trace it. So you want your sketch to be perfect so that your piece of metal can be perfect. And with all of this, the more planning you do in the beginning makes it easier once you actually start using the materials, especially if you haven't used those materials before. That sometimes that relieves a little bit of the confusion with it. So you'll be doing some sketching before you begin. And in this PowerPoint, which again we're going over in class, you'll see lots of student examples that we'll talk about too, and we'll talk about more in depth of how they created the designs that they did. And if you want to, you can watch this video of students, I think from 2 years ago, working in class on their mandalas, which might help you understand exactly what we're doing. And then for your homework at the end of the week, you're just going to have to come up with your designs. It's just the very first step is what we're doing. So you'll get this whole packet step by step of how we're doing the metal tooling, but all you need to do is sketch 3 different designs, I believe it is, and there's some radial symmetrical circles here to get you started, because we'll talk about all of this too, but mandalas are symmetrical designs that repeat a pattern through a circle. So you have to create 3 sketches. Even if the very first one you do is the one you want to do, that's fine. You still have to do 2 more, because we do always want to challenge you to make sure you're doing the very best you can in this class. So that's it for this week. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in class.